Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you all? And now in this time, I want to explain about the Jakarta city. Okay, Jakarta, the capital of a nation, has a fascinating history. Lots of different aspects have colored the city history and the life of people today. Since the 5th century, ships from China and Champa or Vietnam and from all islands in the archipelago docked at the mouth of the Ciliwung River. Indian and Portuguese trades also visited this small town. Japanese sailors carrying spices from Molucca also docked there. Nearly all people from the east and west left their trails to blend special flavor of Jakarta. Concise description of all historical buildings and monuments refers to the site where the city of Jakarta itself begins. All historical evidence points to the area of the kota, the old city on the banks of Ciliwung rivers, a bit south of the place currently known as Pasar Ikan or Fish Market, was planted the first tiny seed that developed into a hug city of more than 10 million inhabitants. When did Jakarta start its journey throughout history? Nobody knows exactly. If we stand on top of Menara Shah Bandar or the local tower, across the bridge over the Kali Besar, we enjoy a view of all this area of Jakarta. To the north, we can see the present old harbor with its colorful perahu or sally boats, and the Java Sea. Some 300 meters to the south, you can find a renovated old drawbridge. In the time of the Dutch East India Company colonialism, the bridge was called under Pasarburg of Chicken Market Bridge. At that time, between 17th and early 18th century, ships could sail further up to the river Ciliwung. Toward the south of this drawbridge, the once busy harbor town of Sunda Kelapa stretched along both sides of the river between the 12th century and 15th century. Sunda Kelapa was the main port of the Hindu kingdom of Sunda, the capital of the Pakuan Pajajaran kingdom was located today journey upriver, now known as Bogor. This port was often visited by ships from Palembang, Tanjung Pura, Malacca, Makassar and Madura, and even by merchants from India and South China. Sunda Kelapa exported among other items pepper, rice, and gold. In 1513, the first European fleet for Portuguese ships under the command of Alvin arrived in Sunda Kelapa from Malacca. Malacca had been conquered 2 years earlier by Alfonso de Albuquerque. They were looking for spice, especially pepper, to this busy and well organized harbor. Some years later, the Portuguese Enrique Lim visited Calapa with presents for the king of Sunda. He was well received, and on August 21, 1522 and signed a treaty of friendship between the Kingdom of Sunda and Portugal. The Portuguese received the right to build a godown or warehouse and to erect a fort in Calapa. This way regarded by the Sundanese as a consolidation of their position against the encroaching Muslim troops from the rising power of the Sultanate of Demak in central Java. To commemorate this treaty, they put big stone called a padrão, which vanished for some years. This stone was uncovered later in 1918 during an excavation for a new house in Kota area on the corner of Cengkeh Street and Nelayan Timur Street. This padrão can now be seen in the National Museum on Medan, Merdeka Barat Street. The original location of the stone suggests that the coastline in the early 19th century formed a nearly straight line which is marked by the presence of Nelayan Street, some 400 meters south to the local tower. The king of Sunda had his own reasons for great danger from the expansive Muslim kingdom of Demak, whose troops threatened his second harbour town, Banten, west of Jakarta. Sunda felt squeezed and was in need of strong friends. Thus, the king hoped the Portuguese would return quickly and help him protect his important harbour. But they came too late, for in 1527, the Muslim leader Fatahillah appeared before Calapa with 1,452 soldiers from Cirebon and Demak. According to some historians, this victory of 1527 provided the reason for Fatahillah to rename Sunda Kelapa Jayakarta, which means great deed or complete victory. On the basis of this victory, Jakarta celebrates its birthday on Juni or 22 Juni 1522. The day Fatahillah gave the town a name of victory over Sundanese, Hindus, and Portuguese sailors. Prince Jayawikarta, a follower of the Sultan of Banten, resided on the west banks of the Ciliwung River, which in the early 17th century reached the rocky at our starting place, the lookout at Pasar Ikan. He erected a military post there in order to control the mouth of the river, and the Dutch, who had been granted permission in 1610 to build a wooden godown and some houses just opposite there on the east bank. Dutch ships had already come to Jayakarta in 1596. The prince tried to keep a close eye on this unruly guest. To keep its strength equal to that of the Dutch, Prince Jayawikarta allowed the British to erect houses on the west bank of Ciliwung River. Across the Dutch godown in 1615, The prince granted permission to the British to erect a fort closer to his custom office post, Jayawikarta, was in support of the British because his place was under the threat of the Dutch cannons. In December 1618, the tense relationship between Prince Jayawikarta and the Dutch escalated. Jayawikarta soldiers besieged the Dutch fortress that covered two strong Godon, namely Nassau and Mauritius. The British fleet, made up of 15 ships, arrived. The fleet was under the leadership of Sir Thomas Dale, former governor of the colony of Virginia, now known as Virginia State in the United States. The British admiral was already old and was indecisive after the sea battle. The newly appointed Dutch governor Jan Pieter Son Kon, 1618, escaped the Molucca to seek support. Meanwhile, the commander of the Dutch army was arrested when the negotiation was underway because Jayawikarta felt that he was deceived by the Dutch. Then, the Prince Jayawikarta and the British entered into a friendship agreement. The Dutch army was about to surrender to the British when, in 1619, a sultan from Banten sent soldiers and summoned Prince Jayawikarta for establishing closer relationship with the British without first asking an approval from Banten authorities. The conflict between Banten and Prince Jayawikarta, as well as the tense relationship between Banten and the British, had awakened the Dutch enemy. Prince Jayawikarta was moved to Tanara and died in Banten. The Dutch felt relieved and tried to establish a closer relationship with the Banten. The Dutch fortress garrison, along with hired soldiers from Japan, Germany, Scotia, Denmark, and Belgium, held a party in commemoration of the change in situation. They named their fortress after Batavia to recollect the ethnic group Batavier, the Dutch ancestor, since Jayakarta was called Batavia for more than 300 years. Under the relationship of G.P. Coin, Dutch army attacked and destroyed the city and Jayakarta Palace on 30 May 1619. There were no remains of Jakarta except for the Padro stone now stored at the National Museum in Jakarta. The Jayakarta grave was possibly located in Pulau Gadung. If we stand on the top of Menara Syah Bandar and look around, we can enjoy the beautiful panorama in the oldest area of Batavia. Certainly, we can enjoy the remains of the city Sunda Kelapa or Jayakarta, Castle or the Dutch fortress, too, has been destroyed. Here we can see several remains from the mid-17th century. Nearly all of the remains are related to trade and sailing. Menara Syah Bandar was built 1839 to replace the old flagpole in ship dock located right on the site across a river. From the pole and later the tower, officials observed ships about to anchor gave signals. The tower then is used as a meteorology post to the west of the lookout tower. We can see the view of the prison Museum Bahari. The museum represents a very old and strong edifice with Dutch architecture. The museum also provides several maps of the city, with stakes of the city development zone. The museum is part of something in Dutch called Westpacuisien, warehouse on the West Bank. Her nuts mix pepper, coffee, tea, and cloth in a large scale were used to be stored. The area the areas around Menara Shah Bandar was once the center of Kota Batavia. It was the center of a trading network with widespread against reaching Hiroshima or Nagasaki in Japan, Surat in Persia, and Cape Town in South Africa. Intertrade among Asia was more profitable than intertrade between Asia and Europe. And the pasar ikan or market fish once was the pulse here, the site where the origin of the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta, came from. Okay, we know the little history about Jakarta city. Don't forget to visit also to this city. I apologize if I have many mistake. Thank you very much. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.